Hi there, my name is Chelsea and I've been asked to talk to you today a little bit about home education. Now, even if you think that's not your thing, then stick around as you may learn something about education in general. There are so many misconceptions surrounding home education, and the first one begins with the name. You see, the word home is all wrong for a start. That implies that a child is sat at home with its parents, never going anywhere or seeing anyone. Well, that's rubbish. Most home educated children are out more than they are in. They're out learning in the real world, taking advantage of all the brilliant resources that we have out there, like museums and galleries, sports halls and swimming pools, historical sites and nature reserves. In other words, kids learn out in the real world, or out in the whole of your community. Learning does not have to be done all in one place. And talking of communities, that's another misconception about home educated children, that they don't mix or have friends. More rubbish. Don't you ever think that anyone ever makes any friends outside of those school gates? Of course they do. Didn't you? Kids make friends wherever they go, through things like gaming or football or other social groups, and the contact they have there is far more normal than the contact they have in school, where it's considered weird to speak to anyone outside of your age group. Besides, the home education community is huge. Thousands of families now homeschool in the UK, and thanks to online networking it's growing daily, and there are now families in every community that meet on a regular basis. There is so much to do, see and take part in. Kids are out doing stuff more than they are in. And that brings me to another misconception that many parents have about education in general, that the only way to learn is to be sat in a classroom with a teacher with a bunch of others the same age. The real truth is that learning can be approached a multitude of different ways. For example, children learn much better when they're involved practically with what they're doing, maybe moving about and discussing it, having real experiences and not just academic ones, using and learning all sorts of skills, not just skills to pass exams. When families home educate, they have the opportunity to give their children real life experiences, like taking them to a castle rather than just studying one in a history book, like enjoying libraries and books and stories together rather than wading through a massive reading scheme, like experimenting with science rather than just reading about it, even travel and holidays. These stimulating experiences add to a child's sense of enjoyment about learning, and if they're enjoying it, their intelligence grows and grows, and they want to learn more. It's a snowball effect. Okay, so you're thinking this is all very well, but don't you need tests and exams to be educated? Not really. The real truth is that although children are tested and examined throughout their school life, the tests aren't of any value to them. Tests only provide statistics to put on school forms. They aren't really of any value to the child at all. They don't enhance their education. However, most home educated children do go on to do GCSEs. They study at home or in groups, and then they sit their exams at independent centres. They generally get good grades and go on to work or uni like many other children. Some families opt not to do GCSEs, but take other approaches to get where they want to go. Some use further education courses and colleges to gain qualifications, or do access courses for university, and still get there without GCSEs. People think that GCSEs are the answer for everything, but that's normally because they haven't tried the alternative. And speaking of alternative, that leads me to my final misconception. People think that home educated kids are going to be weird or unable to mix or fit in. Usually that's because they haven't met any. Would you think that I was weird or unable to communicate? Because I was home educated. Does that surprise you? I didn't do GCSEs or A-levels. I did other exams and passed with distinctions, despite never doing any tests at home. I went on to uni, as did my sister, and I now live and work independently in the normal world. We studied the arts, but our closest friends were very much into the sciences and did 5 GCSEs and went on to college and uni. All my home educated friends are now living and working in the real world. I don't know anyone who isn't. There is a whole bunch of home educated adults out there in the real world, living normal, fulfilled, productive lives and contributing to society, and you would never even know they'd never been to school. Does that surprise you? Schools work great for some, but not for all, and I don't think I would have achieved as much if I'd have stayed there. I was very lucky that my parents gave me the opportunity to try something different. My mum is now writing to support other parents that are wanting to do the same, and you can read more about it in her book, Learning Without School. And if you want to read the story of our home educated lives, she's written about it in a funny kind of education. It even made me laugh looking back at it. You'll also find more information on her website. But for now, keep your mind open to meeting home educators. You never know when you might meet one. Thank you for watching.